navigating to a place you've never been using only map and compass. Okay, so one of those ticks is actually more than 100 meters according to the map. So 9 of those ticks is 1 kilometer. So I'm addressing that now. I've got my declination there. So let's get this map oriented. So getting on them grid lines. Now we rotate that until north is on the needle, right? Still on those grid lines. Yep, okay. Alright, now we're going to adjust for declination, which is minus 11, or 11 degrees west, so that means, there we go. Alright, map is oriented. Starting here, I'm going to shoot an azimuth to this little marshy swamp, potentially airing just to the right of it. And then once I get there, I'm going to shoot an azimuth down to that little peninsula. And I should be able to, if I hit that, I should be able to see that creek over there and a big boggy area, big boggy open area out here. Okay, so I'm going to do some measurements and I'll be back. Alright, so we've got our oriented map and I've got my first chunk drawn between 30 and 35 degrees. So 32.5 degrees. Alright, and I actually kind of measured the distance when it was flat, but it worked out to be about 10 ticks, which is 1,100 meters. So I'm going to shoot that azimuth and get to walking. Got about 15 paces to go before I have to shoot another. Yippee! Alright, so here's an example of a larger thing I'm going to try and get around. It's kind of this boggy area. So my azimuth should take me right through there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 90 degrees and I'm going to go about 30 paces that way. Subtracting 90 from 32.5 degrees would be 302.5 degrees. Right? Yes. Yes, and then I'll go back on my azimuth for maybe 100 paces and then go back 32 degrees. Right, so here we are. Kind of a small circular lake surrounded by marsh, which is right what we were aiming for right there. As you can see, I get it right there. I'm pretty much in the middle of it. And my pace count was pretty accurate actually. It was about 1 kilometer. And I'm in about the middle. So that was taking me to the further edge. So I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, continuing on our quest. We are now at this little lake right here at this spot. Right? You can see on the satellite imagery, which kind of helps. We got this round little lake surrounded by kind of marshy lily pads and grass, which is kind of what I showed you. So I'm reasonably confident that that is where I am right now. So I'm trying to get down over here. So first I'm going to draw that line. Okay. So that is the route I'm going to try and take. And it is 17 ticks. Which would be nice if those were 100. They're 110 meters each. So 1770. 17. So shy of 330 meters short of 2 kilometers. As you can see, I'm going to be kind of going. We've got this little mountain here that I'm going to be side hilling on. Hopefully that's not too treacherous. Might be some marshy stuff here that I gotta negotiate. We'll find out, and I might hit this bog before I hit that peninsula, which means that once I hit that, I'll just kind of walk the edge. So hopefully this works out. Map is now oriented. Map is being held. Now that line, 122.5 degrees. It's right up that hill. Here's an example of some of the small obstacles that I'm having to make my way around. Just giant rocks and blow down and crap like that. So what I'm doing is shooting an azimuth to a landmark close to the other side of this and kind of guesstimating the steps. So I'm at 56 right now. I would estimate it would take about 5 paces to get to the other side of this, and then I shot an azimuth to that tree right there, and so I'll basically just start at that pace count at that tree when I get around this, because some of these, some of these areas are pretty crazy. Come up to a pretty boggy, marshy area that I don't want to go through. So we're going to go 50 to 100 paces at 32.5 degrees this way. And I will update you then. 62 paces. Kind of got around this boggy area. 62 paces at 32.5 degrees. So right now I'm going to go back on my original heading of 122.5 degrees. I've gone a couple hundred meters more at 122.5 degrees, so I'm going to do that back 90 at 212.5 degrees to get me back to my original line, because I have sufficiently cleared the swamp, and I'm climbing up right now, which makes me believe I'm side hilling that little mountain. So we're going to go 212.5 degrees, and I went 63 paces. So I got to go back 63 paces. All right, here we go. All right, back 63 paces. I don't know if you can see that, but I can kind of see the opening where that swamp is behind me, because I'm back on my original course. So, continuing on at 122.5 degrees for quite a bit longer. I noticed this big open marsh to my north side as I was coming in. I was at about 1,800 meters, so a little bit further than I had originally calculated. But I noticed this open area to the north of me. So when I go look at the map, to this little peninsula, there's big open marsh to the north as well. So basically, I'm on that peninsula. I'm just right on the tip right here. And I've determined that by shooting an azimuth from here to this little other point I can see, and that's 350 degrees when I when I shoot an azimuth to it, and that's what it is on this map as well when I orient the map. The map is, or at least it was oriented before I started messing around with stuff. Oh, yeah. And that's about 350 and 350 of those 2 points. I've also kind of checked the satellite image as well to make that determination, but I'm basically going to just walk around this peninsula and eventually arrive at the southern tip, which is my destination. Alright, and here we have the river I've been kind of looking for. If we look at the map, you see that river that runs between those two. That river that runs between those two land masses. That is just, so I am facing, see that? General easterly direction across the river. Well, I've arrived at the kind of southern bit of this peninsula. And of course, someone's hunt camp. Man, I really think you're kind of getting away from it all and like really hiking out there and places that no one's been, and always find someone. So yeah. Alright, so here we are. We have arrived at our destination to find someone else already here. Right, there we go, right where that little kind of the end of the line is. Found somebody's hunt camp on the, that's where we are on that little peninsula, and looking out to that river. You can see the curve of that river. This aerial view kind of sucks, but yeah, looking out that way across that river. So, there we are. We're here.